Hey there, guys, and welcome back to another episode of probono.org Let's Talk Law. I'm your host, Emil, and today's the format's a little bit different. There's no camera work in today, except for beautiful audio visuals. And today I am with EP5, who graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Legal Theory, Political and International Relations and Studies from Rhodes University in 2020. She then graduated with a Bachelor of Laws in 2022. She completed her articles at the Rhodes University Law Clinic. She is now an admitted attorney at the High Court of South Africa. She is passionate about providing access to justice for all. She has now joined the dynamic and dedicated probono.org team in the Johannesburg office. She'll be overseeing the Refugees, Deeds, and Masters and Housing Department. Pio, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing good. I will say, I say this so far with all the attorneys from probono.org, that your guys' bio is filled with so much accomplishments and achievements. So that's just a normal thing around pro bono?
Yes, definitely. I think that's just the type of people that the organization strives to have within the organization. It also leads to the vision and the mission of the organization. So I think it just gels and it merges well together.
And before we get into the beefy part of this interview, can you just tell us a little about yourself?
So I, as you said, am Miss Apiwe Nonyugela. I am a newly admitted attorney of the High Court. I got admitted actually in April of this year. I served my articles at the Rhodes University Law Clinic, and I am now currently a staff attorney at probono.org. I believe I'm a bubbly, open, happy person in general. And yeah, I think that's just it for me.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on the graduation in April. And you do seem like a very lovely and bubbly person. I feel like a lot of lawyers are like that nowadays.
I think the profession requires that.
Speaking about professions and this being a law podcast, what motivated you to study law? Because I know a lot of people have different reasons. Some it's, how they grew up. There must be a family member who studied law, or you just have a passion for it. So what was your motivation?
It actually sounds cliche, but I think the main reason why I became an attorney was because I wanted to help people. So I grew up in the rural Eastern Cape where people don't have access to legal services. So I saw that within the community that there was a need for people to actually have access to justice. So hence I took this route. So I felt that being an attorney would give me the necessary background and the degree to reach out to people who needed help. And it just so happened that actually when I needed to start my articles, I then started in a law clinic that was basically catering towards the indigent people of society to help out people. So I feel like then my reasoning for doing law then also merged within the type of organization that I then found myself doing my articles in. And then now I'm at probono.org, which is an organization that plays such a crucial role in ensuring that the indigent people in our society have access to justice. So that is why I became an attorney, and I feel like I'm living within that purpose.
I don't think it's a very cliche answer. It's a very noble answer. I mean, the fact that you want to help people, you bring people before you is a very noble thing. So you should, give yourself a round of applause for that. Now,
thank you.
When we talk a lot about first time things, like the first time you drive a car, it's exciting. First time you tie a tie, first time you brush teeth or even tie your shoes, it's an amazing moment in someone's life. So do you remember the first consult with a client, and how would you describe it?
I do actually. It was a divorce matter. I was nervous. I just started. I was a CA, and they said, you know what, you've got this. Go into the consultation room. If you need anything, you can always excuse yourself. So it was a divorce matter. I was nervous. I was concerned. Am I going to ask the right questions? Is the client going to see that I'm nervous? Is the client going to probably lose confidence in my ability because I was young at the time? But I think it went well because it was a divorce matter. We had questions that were like standard questions that you ask in a divorce consultation. So that went well. And because I was a CA at the time, I could excuse myself from the consultation and consult with my superiors just to make sure that I am in the right direction, that I'm giving the proper legal advice. So that was my first consultation. Nervous, but overall, I think I handled it well.
So for many years in the legal world, a lot of the times it's a male role being filled. It's always seen as a male's job or a man's job. But in recent times, what are your thoughts about female legal practitioners in South Africa? And so far, how has your experience been?
So I definitely believe that females have cemented and actually taken up space within the profession. You'll note that like sometimes on social media, people will post their like admission days, like on the days that they get admitted. And I've actually noticed that there's a lot of females that are currently being admitted as attorneys rather than males. So I've noticed that females have taken up space within the profession. Females are actually now occupying rooms and spaces and positions that were not designed by women, and were actually not meant for women. Women have created platforms that are dedicated to empowering women through legal education. I know there is a lady who has a platform called Sister in Law, where she does legal education, everything female, women related, just educating on the law. There's organizations such as the Women's Legal Center that is doing great work just for women empowerment. And to speak to my experience so far, to be honest, I think I've had a great experience so far. I can't complain yet. So yes.
So far your experience has been great, but is there anything you would change about your experience? And if yes, what would it be?
As I said, I think also because I'm fairly new within the profession, to be honest, I've had such a smooth journey from my schooling to my articles. I think there've been incredible people that have been placed within that journey that have basically contributed to where I am right now. And I think more specifically, I'll mention my my supervisor / principal within my articles. He was a law professor, and I think he has contributed tremendously to the type of practitioner that I am today. But I'm still yet to learn. I'm still new in the profession, so yeah, I have my years ahead of me, but so far so good. I'll be honest and say that.
I know earlier before we were talking about women now being in more law situations, being in the room. How would you encourage young female practitioners to show up for justice in the country?
I think for that one, I would say women need to speak up more on matters that impact, women within the profession. And I think also matters that are related to women. Because I think if we don't then speak about our experiences, then if we don't speak about our experiences, then we don't know what's going on. And also to speak on matters that relate to women. So I think maybe that's how we can basically show up for justice within in the country.
So in a lot of fields, be it legal or non-legal, there is a lot of, not unjust, but like there's a lot of challenges to go through. But if you had a superpower, it could be any power you want, to transform the legal field for women, what would you do with that power?
I don't know how we would identify this, but I would say perhaps have women hear matters that impact women. So there was a recent High Court judgment, but that's been overturned now by the Supreme Court of Appeal. It's called Toko VS, right? So the initial judgment came from the Grahamstown High Court, or Makanda High Court, as it is called now, where there was this new introduction to law of a so-called tacit consent, right, within intimate partner relationships, which I think, in my opinion, was not necessarily a good call, but that has been overturned now in the SCA, and the judge that sat in that matter was a male, right? So I in my personal view believe that perhaps if a lady sat in that matter, the outcome would have been different. So I don't know how we would classify that superpower, but maybe in matters related to your domestic violence matter that impact women, where women know better, then maybe I would say I'd make some sort of ruling to say, let's have women decide on matters that relate to women.
So women for women, it's something what some police forces in South Africa and around the world do. If it's a case of harming a woman, most of the time it's a woman police officer doing this. So you're saying something similar to that.
Yes, definitely.
And before we do end this lovely interview, how do other attorneys become part of probono.org, or how do we join?
Okay, so probono.org is a legal clearinghouse. What we do is we link private legal practitioners to indigent clients. So attorneys can always approach us and they can volunteer to assist in however way that they can, whether it be hosting webinars, conducting community workshops, staffing our clinics, and they can always approach Pro Bono on our socials. We're active on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and we also have a website where you can contact us.
Well, Apiwa, thank you so much for giving us more insight of what it is like to being a new attorney, taking on challenges, and you're voicing your opinions about women in the world, in the legal world. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and share with your friends, family, and like I always say, your coworkers. Apiwa, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.